Ma! Evo, what's happening? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What is happening? Beverage. Yep, you're the turd. Good evening, Danster. So last Friday I had my valve springs measured, and they are, Jeffro asked me to get them measured at 1 inch, and I don't know if he said compressed to 1 inch, like total thickness, or 1 inch down from the top. So when I went to the machine shop, they did both. Actually, I thought that they were just going to measure from 1 inch down, but he actually squashed the whole thing to 1 inch and got a reading of 388. And then he goes, "Did you want it 1 inch total or 1 inch from the top?" And I said, "I think it's 1 inch from the top," but I still took the reading. And so it's 200 at 1 inch from the top, and 388 compressed to 1 inch. So it's triple spring, and I need 150 closed and 150 closed and 360 something, 364 open for the cam. So what's up, Zach? Oh, how am I doing on this fine evening? I'm finer than frog hair. Got let out of work early today. Bonus. It was raining when I left work. I was on my motorcycle. Not bonus. Boss steps out to have a smoke, and he sees me walk out to my bike, and it's raining at a pretty good clip. And he goes, "Well, it ain't a very good time to leave right now, huh?" And I said, "I don't give up. I'm going home." And I swung a leg over my bike and left. Hi, Heather. And yeah, half the trip home it was raining. I took all the back roads. And of course, summertime in Michigan means construction. So they've got everything tore up. So I had to jog all over the place. And in the rain, lots of fun. And halfway home, I outrode the storm, and everything was fine after that. I actually halfway, like my shirt and everything dried out. My left boot was soaked. My pants were soaked. My wallet was. Oh, we gotta mute that. There. Landon. Cousin Mike. What's happening? You enjoying some cucumber lemonade? That just come to me off the top of my head. Classy ringtone. Well, thank you. When I first got this phone, I was looking at ringtones, and all I could think of was, because I kept playing it, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, this sounds like porno music. Maybe too much. Oh. So rode home, soaking wet when I got home. Bike is filthy. Yeah, it needed a bath anyway. I haven't detailed it since I had that live and we detailed it. So brown chicken, brown cow. Have I tried driving a Lexus? I have driven Toyotas, and a Lexus is a high-end Toyota. I've ridden in a Lexus, but I have not driven a Lexus. Oh, bonjour. Bonjour. Welcome, Robert. Now, I gotta say, Buckeye, I think the opposite. Ohio sucks and Michigan rocks. So, I mean, whatever. But go blue, baby. But let's not let that get in the way of us having a good time. Shall we? What's the difference between AMG and Barbas Mercedes? Okay, Brabus. I am familiar with AMGs a little bit, but I have I don't know anything about Brabus Mercedes. So I'll tell that right off the bat. But the AMG stuff, yeah. You can turn a stock Mercedes into a fire-breathing dragon with AMG stuff. No garnish, just straight, right? Straight room temperature, straight no garnish, no mixer. Okay. It's hot in summer. You should throw a little tonic in there and a couple of freshly cut limes, Danster. Straight up. That's what I figured, Dan. W126 S-Class, Germany's best luxury car. I like a W123. I think it's 123 chassis. 78 through like 86. So like 240D, 250Ds, 300s SDs. I like those. That's a really long living platform too, but I like them in diesels. I don't like Mercedes gas. It ain't no limes in the house. I'm gonna try this mango habanero whiskey. Okay. Sweet and spicy, and spicy sweet will counteract spicy, so it makes it. But that's interesting. My friend loves dark chocolate with hot peppers in it, pepper chocolate. He loves it. Currently eating an olive out of the bottom of your martini. Actually, what I really like are those garlic stuffed olives, the big jumbo olives, garlic stuffed. Oh man, those are good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Now, Cousin Mike, you're not wrong in what you're saying. Yes, a Mercedes is expensive when it breaks, but they don't break very often. So unless you've got a Mercedes that hasn't been maintained, then it becomes expensive money pit. But if somebody's taken at least halfway decent care of it, it doesn't break that much. Well, the four cylinders from like the 60s diesels, from the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the early 80s were naturally aspirated, and they ran decent, but they weren't like wow. And then when they came out with I cannot think of that diesel, that inline 5 diesel engine. It's OM something. And but that 5-cylinder come out naturally aspirated, and it didn't really have that much oomph. But then they made the SD, which was the turbo diesel version of that OM engine, and that was a game changer. The turbo made it, because it was a dog naturally aspirated the inline 5, but yeah, the turbo diesel made all the difference. Anthony, welcome. Automatic or manual? I prefer a manual. But I mean, if I got an automatic, I'd be fine with that too. I mean, Mercedes doesn't make junk. And if like I said, somebody took half decent care of it, it should last. And you'd think that a Mercedes diesel, like a 4-cylinder, like a 240D, you'd think that thing would get like insane mileage. No, it only gets like 25. And then it's got a starting procedure that's like 2 days short of eternity before you have the car running. So Jay Leno makes the joke. He's like, the murderer's going to come get you and kill you. Quick, let's jump in her Mercedes. Oh, hold on a second. Wait for the gold plug to go off. Okay. He's like, you're dead. What do you think about BMW? I like BMW motorcycles. I do not care for BMW cars. BMW motorcycles are awesome. BMW makes some beautiful cars, but I'd rather have a BMW motorcycle. Imagine you installed an old Mercedes V8 engine. Oh, like the 6.2, 6.4? There was yeah, in the 60s they put a huge pushrod V8 in a full-size Mercedes, and guys literally were drag racing it and winning in this big luxury Mercedes. Yeah, it was like a 6.2 or a 6.4 liter V8. So, yeah. BMW cars are rough on head gaskets. Check out M5 competition. Okay. M series, so M3. Okay. So it's an M series. Hope you like it. V8 Lexus swapped. Toyota makes a hell of a V8. A few years back, got to drive a Toyota pickup, and it was the full size. So that's the Tundra. Yes, the Tundra. And it was V8. It had factory installed, or not factory installed. They were dealer options, but they were from the Toyota parts catalog. The truck was loaded. It had headers, dealer installed headers, all Toyota Race Development TRD stuff, and it was just littered with great stuff, highly optioned, and took the thing out, and the thing hauled butt. It had power, it was comfortable, it was such a nice truck. And I got out of that and I'm like, wow, we're in trouble. Always wanted to stick a Lexus V8 into an old rear-wheel drive Celica. My roommate had a Celica, and it was 74? Yeah, it was a 74 Celica. And it was like this bad shade of green. It was like Kermit the Frog green. And it wasn't cool. Yeah, it was Kermit the Frog green. It wasn't even like close to Chrysler Sublime. It was just this bad shade of green with a white interior and a white top. And it was actually a straight and clean bodied car, but the engine had a boatload of miles on it. And my roommate didn't realize that they fought with the car and got it started, and it was hot and had ran that day when he went and looked at it and test drove it, because once it was all warmed up, it was fine. The next morning, I'm working on my car, and he's just bought this Celica, and this is like 1997, and he is just cussing and swearing and just madder than a hornet's nest, madder than a wet hornet, because this car won't start. And he claimed, I think it was just a new car and you didn't know the secret handshake yet. Yeah, he claimed that he off the car, but he claimed that car had to be warmed up first, and he got shafted. 2JZ is the GOAT. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm not aggressively doing it, but yeah, if you'd be so kind, please do. But it's not required of you. But it doesn't cost you anything to do it. Thanks, Ma. Oh, I ordered secret handshake. That's a great term for learning all the ins and outs of an older car. Exactly. But that's what it is. I mean, every car has that procedure. You just know those stupid things to do. In that car, you got to pump the throttle. You got to hold the throttle slightly down. You got to floor it. You got to cuss at it. Well, in September, I'm still going to be racing the bench because Shop Truck's not built. Shop Truck's not ready. Shop Truck doesn't even have a driveline. So even if I do get my 500 subscribers, Colleen, I'm still only racing the bench. Unless I jump in somebody else's ride and rip that down the track, because then we'll have a revelation. I've never been down a drag strip before. True story. We always went out to Mexico. Never been on a real drag strip. Been to the drag strip, hung out the drag strip, busted knuckles in the pits at the drag strip. But I've never actually went down the track myself. So if I did race at Sykeston, that'll be my first time. Race your daily. Me neither. Yeah, I'm not racing my daily. The farm truck drag. Oh, yeah. Farm truck. Yeah, farm truck's awesome. What I love is the look. It looks like this ratty old truck, because it is a ratty old truck. And then the thing just hauls the mail with the back glass on the top, or just a flipping. Made 20 passes that night. Hijack Jeffro's T-Bird. I've been up close and personal to Rowdy the T-Bird. I've been up underneath it. I helped him rip the transmission out. I helped him stuff the transmission back into it. Oh, hell yeah. I've been up close and personal with Rowdy. Rowdy is a beast. And even though I really do like that Thunderbird, I'm still a Mopar guy. That's how looks like hell, goes like a bat out of hell. You could install anything you want into anything. That's the beauty of it all. I mean, if you want to take a 1960 Chevy Impala and make it run on a Briggs & Stratton 8-horse engine, you can do that. There's nothing wrong in it. And most people would actually, unless the purists, but there's people, you'd be surprised. First off, you'll be surprised if you gear things right with a manual transmission, how fast that thing will go. And secondly, either somebody's going to go, oh, I don't like it. Well, you didn't build it for you. I like it. Had a 68 Fury with a 383 and a 727 torque flight. Nice. Shop truck's going to have a Chrysler 413 that came out of a 71 Travco with an all aluminum top end, a tunnel ram, and dual quad AVSs and stainless headers. Yeah. Put a hitch, use a boat to tow the boat. 64 Impala with an LS1. Nice. Our Skyline engine, very cool, very cool. Japanese make great stuff. John Wilburn was showing a short the other day that I really liked. It was a young man. He had a Volkswagen Beetle, and he swapped in a Goldwing engine, which is the little sister to the same engine that's in my Valkyrie. It's a flat 6. It's a post-cylinder 6, 1500 cc's, and his has dual carbs, 2 intakes and dual carbs. And mine is the hotter, that's 88 horsepower. Mine's 95 horsepower. So it's got hotter cams, same engine, hotter cams, and 6 carburetors. Easier to name someone with not an LS swap Chevy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet you liquid cooled then, man, I bet you that thing was a riot to drive. I love my Valkyrie. I love my Valkyrie. Love, 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 love. I'm going to ride that bike forever. It's almost 30 years old, and it's only got 45,000 miles on it. Do you know Smokey DeGata, the owner of Golden Supra? Nope. I don't know. Video of the... Oh, a 413 Iola. Oh, cool. Iola sounds neat. I want to go there just for the swap meet. My hometown 70. Someone. Oh, yeah, with a 64, 66 T-Bird. Oh, yeah, that was normal back then. That was absolutely normal. Exactly. I'd never heard of a Goldwing swap either. And yeah, I've heard of a bunch of Subi swaps. But it's another flat engine, and it looked really good in the car. The young man did a great install. Great install. It looked very good there. There is it's like a Cushman scooter, and it was made by the company. It wasn't Cushman, but it was called West Coast. That was the name of the company. And their little Cushman scooter type vehicle was a Mailster. And the Mailster was a 1/4 ton, had sliding doors on it and barn doors on the rear, mail delivery vehicle. Well, I know a guy who has one way up here in Michigan, and it's rusted, but all the rust repair is all straight panels, so it actually wouldn't be that hard to fix. And I always thought it's got like an Odin, a post-cylinder twin under the seat. And I always thought that would be pretty cool to put an entire Goldwing or Valkyrie driveline in that. Yeah, instead of having 20 horsepower, let's have 95. A lot of those things came, believe it or not, with little Ford 9-inch axles. My friend's Cushman Dykart had a little Ford 9-inch. Stud to stud. The rear axle was like, I want to say the rear axle was 2.5 feet. It was just nuts. It had these little big tires on it. A kid with a VW Honda motor said he wanted to get it to SEMA. I hope he makes it. I do too. He's got a goal, and I hope he gets it, and he's got a great build to take him there. That's a pretty big goal, and I hope he makes it too. Had a 3-wheel Cushman's with a small pickup bed on base. Those are really nice. It's a short. Yes, it is a short on. What's up, Cheetos 777? I don't know why they wouldn't use an 8-inch or something smaller, but it was a little Ford 9. The best engine for diesel in the Dodge Ram 1500. I don't think 1500s came with diesels. Back in the day, the 1500s came with an eco diesel, but they can't see you. Lady Dougster's coming out to smoke. There she goes. Yeah, the 1500s didn't get diesels, I don't think. I think that was 2500s and 3500s that got dieseled up. And then, you've got a 6BT. How do you go wrong with a 6BT? 4BT is the same as a 6BT engine parts wise. It's essentially a 6BT minus 2 cylinders. The pistons, old Mac, what's happening? Of course I remember you, Cheetos. I also had 2 half-ton diesels, and they had power and never had an issue. Okay. The 6BT and 4BT, we went and bought a old retired bread truck, and it had just paperwork on it because it was actually routinely serviced, but the truck had 1.5 million miles on it. And for whatever reason, they put it out back, and we picked it up at auction, and it was pasture parked for like a decade. And we took it out of mothballs, had her up and running, and we drove it home with 1.5 million miles on it. And other than it was, lethargic and whatnot because it was waking up, and, once it finally got up and going, the thing ran great. You wouldn't know that it had 1.5 million miles on it. It was nuts. Do I know Toyota GR? No, I don't know Toyota GR. Gotta fix that. Oh, killer KDP killer death pin. Yeah. Well, you see, that's the beauty and the curse of gear timing. So everything's gear time, which is great, because until something like that goes wrong, and then then it has nowhere to go. So, but then again, industrial stuff. Real Cummins engines, not saying that the Cummins 4BT, 6BT isn't a real Cummins engine, but big rig Cummins engines are actually really interesting when you pull them apart, because it's an inline 6, but the engine is assembled in modules. The head is disassembles in 3 pieces, and then your cylinders are 2 at a time. So if you only need to service cylinder 1, you can only take off 1 and 2 head and then pull 1 and 2 jug, and then, or cylinders, and then just work with number 1, and you don't have to disturb anything else. Or if you have to work on 4, well, now you've got to disassemble 1, then go to 2 or 3 and 4, 1 and 2 to get to 3 and 4, but you don't have to disturb 5 and 6. So it's a really interesting system, and well thought out. Well thought out. Big old ship diesels. Yeah, my father talks about going to the shipyards and watching these guys with a ladder in one hand and a shovel and a bucket in the other walking along. And then it took him a long time to realize that he was walking on the deck face where the head went. And he takes his ladder and he puts it down the cylinder, and he goes down and he's shoveling the carbon off of the piston and putting it in his bucket. That was how big the piston was that my father's seen. And that he's told me that story ever since I was a little kid, and it still is just like, wow, that's big. All right. Be right back. Yeah, the N14. Yeah. See, Anthony knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, you are the borescope. Exactly. Patrick, welcome. I'm going to get myself a drink. Be right back. Oh, I ordered off of the Jumble site. I bought a aluminum radiator for shop truck. I got an aluminum radiator, a fan shroud, and an electric fan for a little over $300 delivered to my doorstep. Hell yeah. So I probably am gonna step up to a better fan just cause. But the shroud's huge, and I haven't opened it up yet. As a matter of fact, it's right there. So, see the big box? That's my rad. Rad, bro. Rad. Yep, engine so big, you are the borescope. That's right. We'll just throw Dougster in the check. That's right. So if I'm in there, does that mean it's getting a dingle ball honed? Ha! An OEM fan for the junkyard is the best way to go. See, I'm gonna have to pick and pull. Always, yeah, the pick and pull part. It's getting more and more expensive, but yeah, pick and pull part, especially for factory stuff that you can't replicate, you can't find anywhere else. What was it that Danster asked? Oh yeah, OEM fan from a junkyard. I would like to do an OEM fan from the junkyard. But at the same note, oh, I know exactly who that is. What's up, the Great Outdoors? How you doing? I know exactly who that is. I am still wrestling with the fact with, do I want to go electric fans on cooling fans on shop truck, or do I want to go mechanical fan? Because at least with a good mechanical fan doesn't go, surprise, I'm not working. Most of the time, yeah, I'm in Michigan. Still just $1 to get into the yard. Oh man, $1 to get into the yard? That's cheap. Ours is like $3 or $4 to get in just to walk the yard. Mechanical fan, well, okay, now you're not wrong in what you're saying, Dan, but also the mechanical fan doesn't severely overload the charging system. That's the problem, is the fans draw so much chooch and they really overload the charging system. And some Mopar charging systems are as low as 35 amps. I'm hopefully going to be running a big 100 amp truck alternator on shop truck, so I should be good in the amperage department, I hope. But still, I don't want to overload the electrical system either. So, you know, and plus if you're running the alternator all the time, you're putting a strain on the engine there, so it's costing you power to make more energy, to make more electricity. Not you, okay. $2. Well, thanks, Cheeto. Can convert mechanical fan to one with clutch. Yeah, you can convert a mechanical fan to one with clutch. like the old Gen 2 Hemis, the 426 Hemis, for whatever reason, they put a solid mount fan, mechanical fan in it. So that means no clutch, running full time. And that thing, they figured it out. It took 30 horsepower to turn that puppy full time. And even though there was a lot of chooch in a 426 Hemi, even stock, but still, that's a lot of. Your truck has a directly coupled fan. Well, thanks, Cheeto, for the second time. Thank you. I appreciate that. I once helped a guy named Patrick Sullivan put a 460 in a Torino. Well, yeah, you got to help out old Sully. Sully needs help. 460 in a Torino? Ah, not me then. Oh, thank you, Bender. It's what I know. Yeah, Cummins makes some great stuff. I also happen to like, and so does old Danster here. Well, Cheetos, the cool thing is you know, just absorb, learn by osmosis. Just be around it and start to know what's what, and you know, if you're interested, you know, expand on it. The F-250 Master, speaking of F2, or actually it's an F-350, Dusty from Wolverine Satellite Garage, where a lot of work on Shop Truck was done before I finally brought her back here to the Wolverine Garage. Him and I, this Friday, we're going to Western North Dakota, to Williston, North Dakota, for Dusty has a 79 F-350 that we call Mr. Bean. And Mr. Bean is a 460 ZF5 speed 4-wheel drive Ford truck, and it's a gnarly truck. Well, it's two-stroke Detroits. They just sound awesome when they're spun up. Caterpillars make the power for sure, but I don't know, something about the Cummins. Back when I was coming up, you had to learn to wrench or you couldn't go anywhere. No bus line in the country and too broke to pay a mechanic. That's how I learned. I was too broke to pay a mechanic. I had to be to work on Monday and I had no choice. What else am I going to do? I got to fix my car. And yeah, that I had a 84 Audi 4000S. That was the 4-cylinder, not the 5-cylinder. And it had, when I bought it, it had like 275,000 miles on it. And it was just an old car with a stack of miles on it. And everything fell down on that poor car all at once. And I literally was driving it to and from work with no starter for the time. I actually had to pull the starter and the alternator out of it. I had a couple bad alternators. So I was using a bad alternator on a charged up battery, and I was push starting my car to get around. And so my alternator and starter were at our friend Jim's place getting rebuilt, and I'm still cruising to work and everything and running all my errands, having to push start my car. And then also make sure that the battery was topped up. Stop over to a friend of mine's house and then leave the car running, and then they hook up the jumper cables for a minute and top up my battery, and off I'd go. Yeah, thanks God for my homies. It got pretty bad. I'd pull in and I wouldn't shut off the car, and they're like, okay. And they open they don't even ask. They just pull out the cables. They know what I'm there for. Hey, Cheetos, it's cool. You know, it's the most important thing is though is you're here. Just park on a hill. Yeah, it was a manual too, and yeah, I did bump start it. And as a matter of fact, old Dad Dougster, he's the one that actually taught me the finesse to pop starting. And his tricks were the cat's meow. Because I just dump it in first, I'm at this time I'm 19, and I would just give it a good shove and dump it in first gear, and it wouldn't start. And Dad comes out and he helps me push the car back, and he goes, "Put it in second," and he says, "Let the clutch out like this, pop, 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 pop." And we had it started in the snow, mind you, on a slippery driveway. We had it started like that. And I had 3 hours southwest. Yeah, I'm about 3 hours southwest. Top of the afternoon. Oh, hello, Tom. Good to see you, my friend. Until the bugs come and get me, I'm going to open the doors here in the foyer and turn on the ceiling fan. So, un momento, por favor. One moment, please. Hey, Ruby. I'm back. It's been so long, I forgot Tom's name. One seven. Either it was a 1.7, Anthony, it was an 84. I want to say it was a 1.8, or it could be the 1.7. I don't exactly know, or I don't remember. It was a cool. It was actually back in its day. It was a beautiful car. It was like a gold metal flake brown with a brown interior, brown and tan interior. Very comfortable car. It just had a bazillion miles on it and some rust. And what's my favorite car? It's always changing. I have favorite cars. Like in my fantasy garage, I'd have 100, I'd have 1,000 cars. Remember the Auden sudden acceleration hullabaloo? I don't remember the Audi having the sudden acceleration issue, but I do remember the big square body Ford LTDs from the 80s, like early 80s to mid 80s. That had a problem with the cruise control where it would do the sudden acceleration thing. It would just go to full wide open throttle. But I don't remember that with Audi. An IROC Z? No. I want the mullet. I want the mullet and I want the T-tops, but the T-tops are actually going to be GM Hurst hatches, which are the predecessor to GM T-tops, and it would be in like a 77 Cutlass. Yes. And then yeah, I'll have a grandiose mullet. Everyone's gonna mistake me for like Jimmy Page. I'm going to have a mullet that would make Joe Dirt jealous. This machine demands his mullet driver. Monte Carlo with T-tops. I'd rather have the Grand Prix in T-tops. I'm a Pontiac guy. I have a mullet. I know. Nice, Danster. Yeah, I want the Hurst hatches because GM T-tops go all the way across with a real narrow bar. Well, GM had the idea for T-tops, but they didn't want to pull the trigger on it. They didn't want to invest the money. And Hurst said, we'll take the gamble. And that's where the Hurst hatch was done. So they pioneered it. And a Hurst hatch only is like 2/3 of a GM T-top or half a GM T-top. And so you've got a big wide strip of roof still left with the Hurst hatch T-tops. And yeah, those are just pretty cool. I had a mullet in like, only because I've seen it. I remember having it, but it's one of my class photos. It's like 1986. I've got a mullet for 1 year. I had one, and my mom ran a hair salon out of the house. So, you know, the family is her business card. So we were always, you know, squared away hair wise, looking good, because that was, you know, she was advertising. Oh, you'll love this. So my mom decided that she wanted to dye her hair. She would perm her hair and do all sorts of stuff. Sometimes I was a guinea pig once I had my hair permed, just to see. Mom said she had this new perm and she didn't know how to use, and she wanted to use it on somebody to see how it would work before she'd use it on a customer. And I was on the swim team at the time, so I went to school with curly hair. And I swam for like 3 days of practice, and all those curls fell out. And Mom goes, see, that's why I tested that on you. Well, anyways, my mom decides that she wants to do her hair in eggplant, that real deep, dark purple. Now, this is like 1990 or 1991. And so my mom and my aunt are hanging out. My aunt dyes Mom's hair, and they're hanging out, whatever. And Mom dries it all off. And then when she's done, my aunt laughs and says, "It looks like My Little Pony." And my mom's hair was like fuchsia. And she was hoping for eggplant, you know, deep dark purple, all, you know, brunette with a purple hue, not My Little Pony, not, you know, fuchsia, pink, My Little Ponytail. So my mom goes, oh no. So then she goes, I know what to do. So my mom just frosts all her hair. So for 1 year, I remember my mom being all bleach blonde, which my mom's a brunette. And so for 1 year, she had like pink hair. She just would frost the hell out of her hair, and it would get lighter and lighter pink. True story. I'd love to be at the Indy 500. I've been, for my posts, if you guys who see my posts, I have been doing a feature on a early Indy 500 winner. I started at 1920 with Gaston Chevrolet, which was Lewis's brother, and then we've been going backwards. And right now we're down to 1913, and Jules Goo, this guy was gangster as frig. Check this out, guys. It's 1913. He's in the Indianapolis 500 driving his Renault. That was a stock car. Anyways, he gets into it early. He pulls in at first pit and he tells the guy, the mechanic, he's like, give me a liter of wine or I'm out. Meaning that he will not drive unless he has a liter of wine. Well, they don't have any wine. They can't find it. And they end up talking to, there's like a king watching the Indianapolis 500, and they actually sweet talk him or buy one of the two some fine champagne from the king, and it's brought down to Goo. Goo latches a hold of one of the bottles, smashes it on the brick wall, throws this thing down and jumps in the car and starts racing. He dominated the race and he drank 6 pints of champagne while driving and leading and winning the 1913 Daytona 500. He had such a commanding lead that when he finished, there was 13 minutes between him and second place. So the sportsmen are running up to him and they're trying to interview him, and he wouldn't answer any questions until he got a bottle of wine. Wow. Yeah. So there you go, Dan. Make drinking and driving great again. Shoe goo. You know, we were talking about that, me and Unfinished Project. It's very possible because from what Unfinished dug up, he had the nickname of Shoe. His last name was Geaux, but it was said Goo. But his nickname was Shoe because he had a waterproofing shoe fixing thing. So it makes you wonder, was it Shoe Goo? Because that would make sense. Yeah. Yeah, definitely don't drink drive. I got invited to an MC once, and the guys are like wanting us to join. And I was at first like, this seems good. And my friends, no, no. Much later, he tells me those guys get drunk and ride. And they ride from bar to bar to bar and get more and more and more and more and more loaded. You don't want to ride with those guys. And I said, fair enough. Whoa, at 16. Wow. You might spill your drink. Years ago, we're out whooping it up, me and the old crew, and my friend had a 67 Catalina 4-door that was like butter dish yellow. It was this absolutely putrid shade of yellow, and we called it the banana boat. And the banana boat had a 4-barrel 389 in it and a turbo 400. Wasn't much, it was just wheels, 4-door. And we're out on the back roads, and we've already drank all the beer, and we blow a radiator hose off, and it's summer and it's hot and it's dry. It's middle of the night. Lift open the hood and we figure out that all that happened is the radiator hose got chapped right there at the water deck and popped off. I fixed it with my pocket knife. Just undid the clamp and cut a little bit off and stuck it back on, and okay, we're repaired. We don't even have beer or anything. We can't find water in the ditch, nothing. No houses nearby. And my friend says, I gotta piss, be right back. And I'm like, wait. Yep. That's how we got it home. And guess who volunteered to change that the next day? That smelled great. I'm 35 years ago getting some gas, and I seen a guy blowing into an interlock device in the saddlebag of his Harley. Wow. Yes, don't drink and get your ass kicked, then drive. Them trees hurt when you hit them at 60. Red Dawn style. Oh, yeah, all sorts of dumb stuff. Um, a friend of ours had a greenhouse, and he had was expanding his greenhouse, and he didn't have most greenhouses have a boiler system and then hot water lines that run under the flower bed so the earth doesn't freeze up here in Michigan. And he had found a boiler, a small boiler, and me and a friend, we were working night shift, and then nearby, in a town nearby, the town that we worked in, was where this boiler was. So we meet him at the bar, because this bar opened at 7 a.m. We're out of work. We meet him at the bar, and we have a round, and then it's middle of winter. We jump in the truck. He's got a Toyota T100 in tomato red. We're in an 88 Ford F-150 two-wheel drive long box, 300 inline six with a 5-speed. And we're on our way out, and my friend had stashed 22-ounce bottles of Miller High Life in the snowbank. He bought them warm at the party store, and he shoved them in the snowbank. So as we're leaving and headed out, and he turns to me and goes, "I'm hankering for a cold beer. You want a cold beer?" And I'm like, "Well, sure, but we didn't make a run to the store." He goes, "Well, let's stop over here." And he pulls up to the snowbank, rolls down his window, and he pulls out two 22-ounce, cold 22-ounce with the snow still on it. Here. And I'm like, how cool is that? So we're cruising along drinking beer, and we're following this guy in the red Toyota, and he misses his turn. And you see him turn, and he realizes that that's the road that he had to turn at. He's on glare ice, and he hits his brakes, and he slides forward. We hit our brakes, and we slide, and there's no anti-lock on that. And we come right in, and we hit our friend on the center. We hit him on the right rear corner of the T100, send him spinning on the ice into the ditch on the left, and then we just kept forward, got control of it, and pulled over. So we raised the hood up that high on the Ford, hitting that Toyota. Truck was still fine, didn't take out the radiator. Our friend, he bashed his head against the rear window of that Dodge, or that little Toyota T100. And this is early days of cell phones. This lady in a Corsica, a dark blue Corsica, pulls up, and she's like, "Are you guys okay? I'm going to call 911. And we're all like, "Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. We've got it." See, truck starts, and he's already driving it away. And so we still go to the place, because we were not even a mile away from our destination for that boiler. We get there, and we realize that we're not going to be able to take the boiler out anyway because of how deep it was in the building. So we had to dismantle it and haul it out in pieces. We couldn't. We thought we were just going to take it loose, strap it to a refrigerator dolly, and take it out. And yeah, there's a little more to that boiler than that. So we ended up having to come back another day to get that boiler. And that guy, that was a lease vehicle, and he never fixed it. I think he turned the truck in damaged. That T100. Insurance fixed the Ford too. That was impressive. So win-win. Back glass scares me in the F-150. No headrests. Yeah. Wear a helmet and show that glass who's boss. That's right. Speaking of helmets, I almost got took out by a 20-year-old, early 20s kid in an all blacked out car, like an older Ford Taurus. I'm going up the expressway. I'm headed to work. Everything's fine. I'm in the middle lane. It's a 3-lane highway. I'm in the middle lane, and there is a dump truck or a trash truck in the right lane, and I'm approaching. Everything's fine. And here comes this little black murdered out car merging onto the highway. He pulls right up behind that slow moving dump truck, and he never looked. And he come right across and cut me off. If I hadn't pumped the brakes at the last minute, he would have hit me with the tail of his car. And I don't get mad very often, and I was furious. And I don't flip off drivers very often. And I showed him my tall finger a few times. Yeah. I was behind him like this in the mirror and get next to him. And I turn in the saddle and I'm like, you're number one. And the young man, all he did was this. He knew he fucked up. But oh yeah, that happened just before I got to work. So I was actually like all tuned up right at the beginning of my shift. He never saw me. He had no idea I was there until he seen Big Bad Biker in the back window. He might have shit himself. Very possible. Saw God once, checked his shorts twice. Doesn't break her back window on launch. Yeah. With an electric scooter Friday. Coming in hot. Ting, 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 ting. I think they do. Yeah, I think they do. I wish I knew why my comments sometimes appear and sometimes not. That's weird. Or just put some high back buckets in it. Custom interior. There was a guy in the late 80s where my dad worked when he was driving truck for this one trucking company. And, he's working with all the same guys. So this one guy, his handle was Whiplash. And Whiplash had a white square body Chevy truck. And I want to say it was like a 78. Yeah, because it was a flat hood. So it was like a 78. And it had that custom flatbed on it that him and his buddies made. And he used the same tail lights and bulbs like a semi-truck overseas container would take. And he had Kenworth air ride seats in it. And he had more switches and stuff in it was like a pickup truck got the big rig treatment. It was cool. Problem solved. Even if I type same message, it won't appear. I'm sorry, old Mac. I don't understand why. Peterbilt toggle switches, exactly. The big old, I mean, this big lever, thunk, thunk. Yeah, Peterbilt toggle switches. Yes, race truck have to have a helmet. Have to have a helmet. I know there are some tracks, like if you turn some like there's a time limit. Like if you're going this many seconds or faster, you have to wear a helmet. It's like 12 seconds. If you're faster than 12 seconds, you have to wear a helmet. So if you turn out like a 19, you can, yeah, basically that's just cruise down to the other side. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we don't mess around. We've got 5 drag strips in the state of Michigan. There's Mid-Michigan Motorplex, Martin Dragway, Northern Dragway, Ubly, and I can't think of the other one. Yeah, there's 5 tracks, drag strips in Michigan, and that's asphalt. So there's also dirt, and there's also drag boats in Michigan. There's also land speed snowmobile racing in the winter. Yeah. Milan, that's it. Milan. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony for the win. Anthony for the win. Man, guys, if you ain't watching Anthony Napier's channel, I highly suggest you do. The guy is crazy talented. He does a great job refurbing houses and stuff. He's got a knack for it. And a while back, he's got a video of him on an excavator, and he's riding on the bucket, and he's got ropes on the controls, and he's riding this thing across his property. It's hilarious. You always wanted to ride a snow machine? They're a lot of fun. They don't steer worth the crap, but they are a lot of fun. Yeah. We went, first year that I went up to St. Ignace for the car show, we ended up down to St. Ignace for the car show. Everyone's everywhere. All the hotels are booked and full. So we were in Mackinac City, and we actually got into the campground there, and which was by the skin of our teeth. And it's hard to get a reservation anywhere. So picture what evening has got to be like dinner time. All the bars are full and lines out the door for everything that you want. So we're like, what are we going to do? And my friend, we keep driving past the American Legion Hall. And finally, my friend goes, I'm a Legion member. Let's go here. And I mean, there was like 3 cars in the parking lot. So we walk into the Legion Hall, and the Legion Hall faced north. And if you were seated at the bar, you could look out the window and you could see the cars driving onto the Mackinac Bridge. Like you were looking at the Mackinac Bridge from the bar at the Legion Hall. We're right on shoreline. Like across the street is Lake Huron. And we're shooting pool, and we got a couple bar burgers. You know, we got usual stuff from the Legion. That was dinner. Great. So we're shooting pool with this guy, and finally he goes, you know, beer's expensive here. Not really at the Legion Hall, but he goes, I got like 2 cases of beer at home and a pool table. Why don't you guys come over? So we've been shooting pool with this guy at the Legion. We go to his house, and then he invites us. We're talking about snowmobiling. He's like, great snowmobiling to be had. Come on up. This winter, come on up. Bring sleds. Great snowmobiling here. So we took him up on the offer. I did. And I went up and brought a couple of buds and some sleds. And we were running on Lake Huron. A lot of the snowmobile trails actually run on Lake Huron ice. Right on, they hug the shore. And you can ride your snowmobile all the way out, and it's a hike from Michigan City out. You can ride it up to Mackinac Island and actually ride your snowmobile on Mackinac Island, and it's actually pretty cool. It's we did that. There's another little island, and it's not very big. Like 2 snowmobiles cover the island, and that's how small the island is. And we parked our snowmobiles on that and stood there. And then if you turn around and you look west, it's really cool because the island's to your left or right, I believe. And then you're looking at the Mackinac Bridge, the lower peninsula, upper peninsula, and then the sun. And then you're looking at the Strait of Mackinac. It's really cool, guys. Yep, went once to Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah, if you're at Mackinac Bridge, you're an hour away from the Soo Locks. Soo Locks is pretty cool, people. Pretty cool. I highly recommend it. It's really neat because you're at the platform and you get to watch the ships come through, and that's when you really want to see a freighter come through. The first time I went there, all I got to see was little pleasure craft. Still get to see the locks work though, but you want to see a ship come through. No such luck. And then as you're standing there at the Soo Locks, because you're on a viewing platform, so you're not on the deck, so men can work if they need to. And then you've got a beautiful view across Lake Superior to Canada, and you can see the shore of Canada. And then it's 75 that takes you into Canada. I forget what it turns into when you hit Canada, but man, that roadbed is way up off of the water. It's got to be 300 feet in the air. It's just nuts. Lost money at the casino? Yeah. Oh, Mean Street Mopar, what's up? Well, the casino, I do like to go to the casino, but I don't hardly gamble when I'm there. If I spend $10, if I spend $20, that's a big night for me. But I do like to go to the casino sometimes just to people watch. It's so funny because, people at the casino, they say, oh, that's where I go to relax and that's my me time and, whatever. Okay, I get that. Do what you like and that's pleasurable to you. Okay, cool. But you walk around the place and you look at people and you realize that they're not having fun. They're in inner turmoil. You can tell just how they hold themselves, how they hold their. It's just like you're stressed. Why? Because you lost a boatload of money. That's why. 500 subscribers. That's worth talking about. Mean Street Mopar doing it up right. Nice. Actually, he's 500 and some change now. Gonna get another drink. Be right back. Oh. Yeah, I come here exactly. When the casino first came into town, by us, there's one locally to me. When the casino first come in, they had the coolest big screen TV I'd ever seen. It literally was like it was a wall of the casino. Like the whole north wall was this enormous TV, and they would do Tiger games. They would have like beer specials and whatever, and we would go there and we would barely gamble. My friend taught me it. He's like, you just sit there at the machine and then you only cycle the machine when you're almost kicked out. Do a minimum bet, whatever. And we were sitting there watching the Tiger game. That's why we were there. And having ourselves actually a pretty good time. A lady comes in, sits down next to me, and she grabs $600 out of her purse and put that in the machine. And she gambled that to zero. And then she pulled another $200 out and put that in and gambled it to zero. And then she called for an attendant. The attendant was holding the machine for her. She went out to her car and came back with another $400. And she put that into the machine and gambled that all to zero. And then the mascaras are running and tears are flowing because, and I hear her say, "Oh my God, I just spent the house payment." Just spent the house payment. Ooh, Merle Haggard. I like me some Hag. I have 5 318s, 1 360, and 1 440. I have 1 440, 2 413s. Well, I have a 440 block and a 440 crank. I have a complete 413. That's what's going in the shop truck. I have a 63 413 streetcar block, just the block, and a set of closed chamber heads. I think that went with it, 915s. And then I have like I think I have 4 383 Chryslers. One of my 383s is an actual HP engine, 4-speed, because it still has its not flex plate, flywheel. Still has its flywheel on it. It's a 68 383 HP engine, and the guy claims it came out of a Roadrunner. And I think what happened is or I know what happened to it. The timing chain failed and it ate a valve, because I found the eyebrows on one of the pistons, and she was locked up. 1302, 1281, 3V, 240 i6, and 7A FEI4 Toyotas. Superbird. I love Superbirds. And the only reason why a Superbird came to be was to bring back Richard Petty, because that was on his list of demands. He wanted a wing car. They said, no, that's a Dodge and you drive a Plymouth. You drive Plymouth. You don't get one of those. And he's like, I want one of those, or I'll go drive for Ford. Go ahead, do what you need to do. So 69 season, he drove a Torino Talladega. And Chrysler doesn't wipe their ass without a lawyer. And Chrysler knew they messed up, and they went in person, no lawyers, no nothing, just man to man. And they went to Petty's garage and talked to Richard himself, man to man, what's it going to take to get you back? And he said, a wing car. I want the Daytona. And they said, done. And the Superbird was born. And the Plymouth Design Studio couldn't leave it alone, because Dodge version was the most coefficient everything, and Plymouth couldn't allow them to make the same car, so they did styling cues to separate the Plymouth from the Dodge. And a Superbird is just a stock Superbird is just a tick slower than a stock Daytona because of the styling cues. Oh, Richard drove Oldsmobiles, Pontiacs, Buicks, Chevrolets, Dodges. There was nothing he didn't drive. Richard Petty had some bad to the bone rides over the years. His 64 Satellite, or Belvedere, his 64 Belvedere is a cool car. What else is cool? Of course, his Chargers from his third generation Charger, that he ran that until they made him run something else. because they kept giving it. Chrysler wanted him to have a Magnum, and he wanted nothing to do with the Magnum, and he kept running the 3rd generation Charger for as long as he could because it worked and he could make that thing move. Ari's here and I missed him. Hi, Ari. Yes, in 64, King Richard was drag racing instead. Yes, he was. When the Hemi band come in, he was running 43 Junior, which was a Barracuda. It's painted petty blue, and it said 43/JR. And yeah, he was drag racing. And the King had a rather nasty accident, and it involved a young boy who didn't make it. And Richard Petty felt very, 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 very sorry for that. It wasn't anything anyone could do. It was just wrong place at the wrong time and something bad happened. But the King took that very personal. And yeah. So he didn't drag race very long. And someone actually found or got it from Petty, what's left of 43, one of the 43 Juniors. And Petty sold it to the guy on one condition. You do not restore the car in any way, shape, or form. It must remain like this. And he said, fair, yes. I will not restore the car. Handshake deal. I like that. A lot of the Petty stuff is literally buried underneath their shop in Randleman. Is it Randleman or Level Cross? I think it's either Randleman or Level Cross. I think it's Randleman. But people are actually waiting for the Petties to be out on the road, and they used to go back into the Petty graveyard and start stealing Petty stuff, like real race cars and stuff. And then they buried cars, and then people were going back there and excavating and stealing stuff from them. So they actually would start to add, they would bury cars, race cars, Hemi cars are buried underneath the shop so no one would get to them. So no one else could have Petty technology. At least that's the lore. Is it true? Maybe? Because I think, no, because Richards even said, yeah, there's cars buried under there. There's an old racer. His name was Snowball Roberts. And Snowball, when Petties were racing 440s, they had 413s. And he had sold, they were no longer using 413 stuff, and they were selling it all. And Snowball, being a smart racer, scratched up all the money that he had, quite literally, and drove a long ways to see the Petties to buy their stuff, and had to talk them down for a lower price simply because they couldn't pay the full price because they'd have no money to get home. That was the only reason why he said, can you take less because we need this to go home. And Petties were gracious enough. But yeah, so old Snowball was driving on old Petty's 413 program. I bet that was fun. Fireball Roberts was quite the racer, and handsome devil too. Oh, Fireball Roberts and Lee Petty. Lee Petty is Fireball Roberts era. Lee Petty, Richard's dad, 42. Yes, 68 is, and it's line wide, like you're talking about. They've got the circular marker. Everything in 1968 got that. And yeah, I think it looks great. Some people absolutely hate it. I like 68. Fury 3, ooh, top line Fury. Oh no, Sport Fury. Fury 1, Fury 2, Fury 3, Sport Fury. Yeah. Yeah. Guy that I used to work with, he got a sizable inheritance, and he was telling me about. He goes, my sister and my brother got paid the same time I did, and they're all broke. They've spent all their money already, burned through all of it on dumb stuff. And I go, well, what did you do with yours? And he said, I paid off my house, and I bought myself a toy, and I put the rest in savings. Okay. What did you buy? 68 Sport Fury in dark green metallic. Nice car. It was a 383 4-barrel car, 68 Sport Fury. Yep, dark green metallic with a black interior. And it was nice. I was happy for him. And he's, yeah. Do I go to Martin Dragway or Milan? Martin. I live right on top of Martin. As a matter of fact, if the wind's right and they're loud enough, I can hear them in my driveway. That Fury 3 was a 2-door and it must have been 18 feet long. Two-tone dark green and dark green roof and Kermit body. That doesn't sound too bad. Sometimes green would work. The right shade of green would make everything. Pontiac in the 70s, early 70s, had a couple tones of green that looked really good. Like they had like a frost green. It was kind of soft. It was neat. I remember a Pontiac Granville 2-door in a beautiful shade of green that well, they had what else did they have? They had a Bonneville too. They had a gold Bonneville. And I want to say that was a 67. It was the Bonneville that had the grill. It had stack headlights, and it had a weird bumper on the bottom. So the bottom headlights were integrated into the chrome part of the grill and the bumper, but the top headlight was body color and had its own little body color thing around it. It looked weird. I didn't care for that front end, but they had one of those in gold. I never remember it moving. They drove the Granville still, but the Bonneville was just parked. Shaker hood, or was that CUDA only? There was a big, like a Fury style car. It was like a GT or something like that. And I want to say I know it got reflective stripes on it. And I think that might have got a shaker hood, but don't quote me. But for the most part, yeah, that's like a CUDA only thing, the shaker hood, shaker scoop. So neighbor's 69 Sports Satellite. That's a good looking car. It was the Mopar green with a white vinyl top, bucket seat console, and shower head shifter. Yeah. And the painted Magnum 500s with trim rings. Nice. 67. Okay. Yeah, 67. I like the rest of the car. I just don't care for the 67 nose. Yeah, it kind of grows on you, but it's not like that's the first one that I want. Custom 880 is a cool looking rig. It is a cool looking rig. Challenger 340. Have shaker hoods too. Yeah, the TA, the 6-pack TAs. 6-pack TA cars are special. They actually have data tags that say that they are Challengers. They are Trans Am cars. It actually has, so you've got your data tag that tells you all your options and everything on the fender, and then you've got the two Phillips screws that hold that down. There'll be a secondary data tag that shares the same screw, and it'll be screwed down, overlapped, and it just says Trans Am on it. 65, 68 was my year. It was my year of Pontiac. A 65 Grand Prix is a beautiful car. I want a specific Grand Prix. I want a 65 Grand Prix. I want a 65 Grand Prix in emerald green with emerald interior, 8 lugs, 421 4 barrel or dual quads, 4-speed. I would be fine with the turbo 400 automatic also, but and then those actually came with real veneer on the dash and on the console, and my wood color will be light birch, so it's a real blonde wood to go with all the dark color of the car. Beautiful. Cruise it. And then my second Grand Prix will be like a 69 or 70 Grand Prix SJ 428 4-speed car. 428 HO. Woo! Look out. 68 had the conventional chrome surround and beak, with beak and not stacked headlights like 67, 68 Firebird and Tempest Le Mans. I went from that Fury to a 74 Datsun 260Z. Talk about a culture shock. Yeah, but man alive, that 260Z probably felt like a freaking canyon carver compared to the, I mean, yeah, exactly. You went from something big and heavy and bulky to something light, nimble, and sprightly, and it likes it. It likes to be putting them curves. Yeah, the Datsuns are cool. My dad had a 65 Grand Prix maroon cooler. Oh, yeah. Yes. Just a great car. Years ago when I was broke, and just one of those things that slips through your hands, I'm on my way home, construction detour, and I'm taking the lesser traveled roads or areas I don't normally go into, and I'm coming into this medium-sized town, and on the, hey Beamer, and I'm coming in headed south through town, and what do I see but a 65 Bonneville station wagon in Burgundy? And I'm going, oh man, had to stop and look at that. And I didn't have the money anyway, but the back windows in the very back lower corner where the back panes of glass are on the sides, almost to the tailgate, the windows were all rotted out. And yeah, that would have been a major fix. Other than that, it was I think that was another 4-barrel 389 automatic car. But man, that car had potential. I wish I'd bought it. I found an Indy top end for my 440 in my blue D100. 440-1 heads, intake, valley pan, and rockers, push rods, and head bolts. I hope I can get the money together for them. Holy wah! Mean Street Mopar. No, you don't be sorry, Buff. You're here. That's all that matters. Are you buying that used? Or are you buying that new? Indie stuff is sweet, man. Good for you. I'm jealous. Of course. What else is there to talk about? Cars, motorcycles. Well, we talk about anything and everything, but yeah, usually it's cars. Yeah, what cars do you like? Yeah, we see the gang's all here. German, Italy, and muscle cars. Okay. You could have Mini Cooper. Mini Coopers are cool. Gotta be BMW, the name like Beamer. I was thinking the same thing. Gin and Squirt? I've never had gin and squirt, but I highly recommend whiskey and squirt. Mmm, good stuff. Or whiskey and Verner's. Real good. But it's got to be Verner's, not ginger ale. Destroyer! What's going on, Eric? Good to see you. What's up? It's used like new. Nice. I hope it's a good price. I bet you it's still pricey. Dude, that's awesome. Squirt plus grain equals trouble. No, no. Actually, my whiskey's my weapon of one of my weapons of choice, though, too. Oh, now, brown cow. What a Eric, what a cool transition that you made from Vegas city life, just chilling in your garage and doing your normal thing, or having a jam session on the old kit, to yeah, we're moving to Kentucky, and yeah, we're right next to a cow pasture. We get to fish every day, and we get to watch beef being raised and fresh steaks every so often. Hell yeah. It's Ron. What's happening, Ron? Dougster, I seen your last at the. Oh yeah, when my cat has had your after race video. uh no, dairy farm. I think it's just beef. I don't know if it's dairy or not. I think it's just beef, but yeah, what a cool transition to country, from redneck in the city to a country boy can survive. One of the worst hangovers of my life. I worked construction that year and was broken. I had only a 1 liter bottle of squirt to drink. Summer of '85. Ooh. It's how about half the price of new indie stuff. Fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Comment about rain barrel for your flower. Um, One of the guys that I buy used speed parts from, he lives in Indiana, and it's a good minute away from here. But he always had good quality stuff, and he was always on the level. That's what I liked about him. He represented stuff properly. He warned you if it was bad. He'd tell you if it was good, and it was. And he had an indie timing cover that I wish I had bought. I really do. Cows are dairy. Cows are dairy and bulls are mean. Yes, they are, though they can be. And cows are, oh, I see. Bulls are bulls. Bulls are mean, and bulls are bulls, and cows are women. Yes. Yeah. Now, you'll have a bull. You'll have certain breeds of bulls that are just docile and they don't care. And then you got other ones that are gonna like crush everything under its own power. The biggest bull I ever seen was, and I seen him get weighed at the auction, and he was 20. I think he was over 2,800 pounds. He was just nothing but muscles, muscles on muscles on muscles. What an absolutely Huge animal. Way home, cops followed me a long way the night before to my way home. Intertwines and didn't get lit up. Montgomery, Ohio sheriff, the sheriff. Early morning for me. See was on. I wanted to stop by and say hello. Ron, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I figured out how to like. Well, good job, Beamer. You made it, bud. It's almost 3 a.m. It's not 3 a.m. here. It's like 9 something Michigan time. 9:43. Three a.m. Where are you, Beamer? 8:43. In the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Have a Bullet Racing solid roller cam. 690. 108 lobe separation. Thumpity, 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 thump. That will go great with those Indy heads. No wonder you want those valve springs, Ken. 6:45 p.m. in California. Oh, you're in United Kingdom. Nice. Hey, Beamer, look up a Jensen Interceptor. Those were built by Jensen, but they came with Chrysler big block V8s in them. And I think they're a good looking car. Either you like them or you don't. And the back window on those are a little strange for most people, but it grew on me. I didn't like it at first, but they grew on me. I like them. Sheriffs had kicked us out of my buddy's condo complex at pool at 0:30, like 15 miles south. I'm sure they radioed north with, "You've got a live one headed your way." Oh, great. Oh, we got cicadas here. We don't get overrun with the cicadas here like other people do in the Midwest. We're in a zone that, I mean, we get them, like you hear them, but it'll be one or two, and they usually come on around August and through September. But yeah, there's other places just south of us that just get overrun by cicadas every like 7 years or something. So imagine that sound by thousands. Yeah, cicadas are loud. The Jensen looks nice. 440 in that Jensen, yeah, bud. Yeah, they're cool car, aren't they, Beamer? Yeah, cicadas can be loud. We had some loud 17-year cicadas here about 2 months ago. They didn't last long. Yeah, it's toads, frogs, cicadas here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep, chickadees. You have to pull over. You can blame the cop for sending you out. Sending you out drunk driving. Yeah, we normally don't get the cicadas like this. And now in the tree line behind us, we get a lot of mourning doves, and it's really funny because normally I have like one, but this spring we had like 3 or 4 mourning doves, and they were having themselves a little coo off. They were all ooh, it's like they were, who's going to be the next mourning dove idol. SKV, what's happening? Same to you, my guy. Or my friend there. Bird made a nest in the mater plant. Oh no. It is a nice night. 1987, the 17-year potatoes in that cycle were out of hand. There was still a dead cicada on my package shelf of my car like a year later. What's actually impressive is you can eat cicadas. Like, there's ways to fix them and eat them. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's like, yeah, let's eat cicadas. But hey, do something. English teachers. The cicada shut up. Yeah, I can see it now. Good evening, class. My name is Mr. Dougster. I will be your teacher for today, and no homework. My English teacher is me auntie. Do you guys remember the movie Catch Me If You Can, where he impersonates the substitute teacher after he gets disrespected by the bully? So he makes the. Oh, yeah, that's just a great scene. She pressures me so much and targets me. Oh, no. Mr. Beast, is that you? Maybe. Oh, I don't think I was going to help back then. If they saw you, you could drive fine. They thought you were okay. Now they'll do a dirty pullover to rope it that way. I'll tell your mom if I don't do this. And mom is not happy with me. Well, that ain't good. Yeah, now we're back down to the frogs and the crickets. Yeah, it rained today. I went into work, and then work ended up being slow. So at 1 o'clock, I walked up to the boss man. There was nothing to do. And I said, it's possible I could leave early today. He's like, absolutely. So I was like, cool, thanks. So I grab my gear, clock out, and go out to my motorcycle, and it's raining. And my boss steps out to have a smoke, and he goes, oh, Cicada's back. And he says, oh, looks like now isn't the time to leave, eh? And I said, I don't give up. I'm going the heck home. I jumped on my bike, and half of my commute home was in the rain. And of course, it's summertime in Michigan, so that means construction everywhere, and they've got everything tore up. So I had to, in the rain, jockey through suburbia because I wasn't going to hit the highway when it's wet like that. And so halfway home, it finally lets up and it was dry. I come home and my pants are soaked, my wallet's wet, my everything's wet. My left boot was absolutely soaked, so I still got stuff drying in the house from coming home. You see, what's happening is our humidity level's so high that finally it needs to rain, so it rains, and then afterwards the sun comes back out and it dries up all that rainfall and it just makes it muggy again. This time of year, the humidity is so bad you wear the air. That's about the best way I can describe it. You can actually like feel the moisture in the air. It seems like. Call my friends brothers. Nice. I wouldn't let myself drop out because I had more respect for myself. No offense to anyone who has dropped out, but I actually stuck with it. School was boring to me. Where's the dad of those? No, school was a necessary evil. How else are you supposed to learn stuff? The funny thing is that um, if you don't like school, the funny thing is when you're an adult and you're actually out making a living for yourself, you could only wish that you got to go to school and hang out with your buddies in between classes and goof off after school and work a little part-time job and go back to mom and dad's. So yeah, working 40 hours a week or more, that sucks. I'd much rather be sitting in class being bored. I learned more on the farm than at school. Amen to that, destroyer. Eric hit it on the nose. Between helping out on working on farms, and then a close friend of mine's dad was an excavator. I call him an ADT man. Any damn thing. He could do it all. He was a machinist. He could wrench. He was very, very, very intelligent. And I learned all sorts of neat stuff with Cliff. So yeah. So between learning all the fixes and stuff there, and then getting thrown into situations where you got to help. Like we were out with the dozer out on the property, and we got the dozer stuck in the swamp. So then we fire up the Huff 60 loader, and then we go out and we hook on to the Huff 60 loader, and then we get the Huff 60 loader stuck, and then we fire up Cliff's. This is me and his son. We fire up Cliff's, what was that, a 93 Dodge D350, or 30, yeah, D350 with a Cummins in it and a 5-speed, and we bring that over, and we've got that chained to the loader, and then we're trying to get the this whole rig back to unstick the loader so we could unstick the dozer, and we're starting to make headway, and we pitched the right track on the dozer. So now we have to shut down. We're leaving the loader run and the truck run, and we have to, the track fell off completely, like the pin broke at the very top, so it fell like this. So we actually have to go in, because that thing is tightened by grease. There's a piston inside, and you take grease and you pump grease into it, and that's what telescopes it out to adjust up the track. So now we've got coffee cans, and we're up to, it's cold out, and we're in the swamp, and we're trying to get this track. Now it's me and his son, so he's probably 16 and I'm 13, and no, a little older than that, but not by much. And we actually had to take cans of grease, take empty cans, and we're taking the come along, and we're bringing that piston back and squirting all the grease into there, because we're going to reuse the grease. And then we finally get everything collapsed, put the chain fall on, and then bring the track back up. And thank God his dad, being a machinist, had made a whole stack of pins and had them sitting in a spot, so for occasions just like that. So we were able to grab a fresh pin, stick it in, and now we've got the dozer going. So now the dozer's back online. Okay, so back to the original deal. Now we got to take the pickup to get the loader moving so we can get the dozer to move. 2 people moving 3 pieces of equipment. And we're trying, and it's past dark, and his Cliff comes home. Cliff and his wife come home. And Cliff was one of those guys who either he was going to be cool as a cucumber, or he's going to hit the roof. And most of the time he's going to hit the roof, just because. So he pulls in, he walks down the hill into the lowlands where we're at, and he's like, what happened? And we're just a muddy, cold, dripping mess. And we said the dozer got stuck, and we brought the loader, and the loader got stuck, and then we had to get the pickup truck to get and he just shakes his head, and he goes, well, here, I'll be in the pickup truck, you do this, and we'll get that, and we finally get everything towed out. and he was cool as a cucumber the whole time. It was great because I think maybe he just decided that we fought enough that day, because we told him we pitched the track and we put the track back on, and he's like, no wonder you guys are a muddy mess. And yeah, he was cool as a cucumber that night. .410 or .430 sounds like a gear ratio to me. Well, thank you, SKV. Oh, yeah, the learning all sorts of neat stuff. Appreciated what a Cummins diesel could do thanks to Cliff's pickup truck. That was the first time I was actually really around and knew what we were dealing with that truck. I remember that truck was brand new. It still smelled new. '93 Dodge, long box, 4-wheel drive, 1 ton, 5-speed Cummins, and it was an LE, so it had the better interior. It had the good cloth seat and the carpet and everything. And that truck was really nice. And even in, God, like 96 or 97, the headliner had fell in. It had a nice cloth. It had a burgundy interior. The truck was charcoal with a silver center. It was a red pinstripe. It was a beautiful truck when it was new. And the headliner had fallen in. And how Cliff fixed it was he took some pieces of paneling and cut them into strips, and he stuffed it in at the windshield trim piece, and then stuffed it in back behind the cab. And that's what held until the day that his son sold that truck years and years and years later. It's how those strips are still up there. Paneling bows. Yeah. It worked. Yeah, he was one of those guys that would just teach you stuff. And we're doing this. Hey, come here, look. Just watch. Like that's how I learned how to make gaskets with form a gasket and hammers and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, just tap 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 tap. He's like, we're gonna make a gasket. Got no choice in your marriage. Old Cliff, he had a taste for hot Pontiacs, and he was a machinist on top of other things. And he had a dream. He wanted to make a 8-barrel intake custom for a Pontiac. And Cliff made it. It was, you could take the intake manifold and put it on a Pontiac and bolt it in. It fit just like it was supposed to. And it has all 8 carburetors on it, and it even has everything down, all 8 down to whatever, stair step down to single pull, and it all functions. And the only thing is, the intake does not have runners. He never got to finish it. He never actually made the runners on the intake. But other than that, it's ready. And I would have loved to seen him finish that. He had some fast Pontiacs. The new 6.7 having the cab has 18.3 to 1 compression. That's pretty normal compression numbers for diesels. I've seen them as high as 22 and 25 to 1. which is insane. But you know, diesels don't have spark plugs. They rely on detonate. Well, basically what we'd call in the gasoline world detonation. But my friend always makes fun of me because I'll be talking about working on shop truck, my high performance gasoline powered V8, and he goes, "Don't you know that diesel's for making power and gas is for washing parts?" He's got a, oh God, it's a '04. I think he's got an '04 Dodge 1500 with a diesel in it and a 6-speed, and that truck is a beast. Deployed submariners have the highest divorce rate. I wonder why. And I heard of Navy guys talking about, especially the submariners, that listening to the radio and everything, and you know what popular songs are on. He actually says when you go out on deployment, you're not listening to the radio or anything like that. And then when you get back, everything has changed. Like those songs are already yesterday's news, and there's these new tunes and everything. And yet, like, you lose a segment of life, it seems like, when you're on deployment. The D2500 truck only has 16 to, only has 16 to 1. Wow, 3.5 points more, eh? For more chooch? Huh. Okay. 16 to 1. I remember watching a whole thing on Bill Maverick, who is the guy who's driven Little Red Wagon since the 60s, the wheel standing Dodge A100 pickup. And he talks about that he's running a 426 Hemi with a blown 426 Hemi, and still running 17 to 1 compression on a gas engine. It's like, 17 to 1, and old Bill Maverick's like, and it makes good power too. I bet it does. 17 to 1, holy crap. But yeah, there's big compression in diesels. But a lot of those high compression that I was talking about are in big rig engines. Pistons that big, huge stuff, connecting rods that long, a camshaft that you could use as a mailbox post. I'd say at least a Cummins cam is about 5.5 feet. There probably is one. All right. You know what? I'm going to freshen my drink, and I think we're going to make it a beer. Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to our road trip this Friday. Going to Williston, North Dakota, almost to Montana. And I've never been in North Dakota before, so that's going to be cool. And so we're got to go through Chicago, and then we got to go across the southwestern part of Wisconsin. Then we're going up through Minnesota to the cities on our way out west. I think it's going to be like 19 hours of windshield time. Going to get a box and a cab for a 79 F350. Good, clean, rust-free stuff. straight 8 crankshaft or camshaft with the mailbox post. Dusty from Wolverine Satellite Garage, he has a Packard straight 8 head in his shop, and to put it in perspective, it is the top of my belt is at the top of that head. So if you people who have met me, you know how tall I am. I'm 6 feet, and that head is at the top of my belt. It's a big head, and it's thick. It's full flat head, but he's got the crank and the flywheel still, and he wants to make that a pedestal for his grinder. I think it's going to be cool and versatile. Move it around. Beamer's back. All right. Everybody can resume. Beamer's back. Everyone was asking where Beamer was, and I told him he'll be back. Relax. Just kidding. Make it a gin and squirt, or even your whiskey and squirt. Ooh, whiskey and squirt, so good. So good. Yeah, I think I'm on top of, because every year for No Name, I'm going to bring a whole boatload of cheap soda from around here called Faygo, Faygo, made in Detroit. And it's really inexpensive stuff, but it's good. It's good soda, good pop. And good, all your standard flavors, orange, grape, lemon, lime, root beer. And so I bring a lot of that, but I think this year I'm also going to bring Vernors for everyone, because there's nothing like Vernors. You can get ginger ale, but there's nothing like Vernors. Vernors, I think, is the best. Mix that with whiskey. Good stuff. Why not Vernors? Well, that's, yeah, why not Vernors? I agree. Vernors is great. Yeah, I wasn't bringing Vernors before, but no. Well, it's just one of those stupid things that, like Connor from Lovejoy Shitbox Sanctuary. I told him right off the rip, I go, there's that cooler. It's full of cold, cheap pop. Have at it. Everyone's drink it up. I don't want to bring any home. And he found Red Pop, which is a strawberry soda, and it's good. It's the original Faygo flavor too. So it's kind of the anchor, and for the brands. And man, that's good. And Connor fell in love with it. Is there a Diet Vernors? Yeah, there's Diet Vernors, and there's also Vernors Zero Sugar, Buff. Yeah, if I remember, Buff, I will bring you Vernors for No Name National in like 2 liters, so you can drink it at home on your lives. It's still they still barrel age their extract too. It's still barrel aged. Like their extract that they're using now was done in like 3 years ago or whatever. It's really cool. Remember Town Club soda? Oh my God, yes I do, Old Mac. Town Club was made in Grand Rapids, and Town Club was still a thing when I was a real little kid. So we're gonna say that Town Club, I think, went away in the early 80s, and we're talking like 82, 83, because we used to live one town north of where I grew up, and the neighbors would throw huge parties in the summer, and you'd go out, and of course, food galore and lawn games and all sorts of stuff. The Pearl and Art were just entertainers to the core. They were just wonderful people. And there was coolers in the driveway full of soda, and it was all full of cheap Town Club pop. It was really cheap soda made locally, and everyone always grabbed. They'd get so many of each flavor, and everyone wanted orange, grape, the normal stuff. And then I always remember flavor, and it was just horrible. Just a horrible flavor. And I'm drinking it, and it's like, ugh, I don't like this. But then again, I got a pop. Cool, I'm a real little kid. And yeah, all I remember was having to suffer through pineapple orange. And every time it was like, I hope I don't get that one. And of course, it was another pineapple orange. Everything was bottled in glass. Yeah. We had a 80 Oldsmobile 98. That was our daily driver. And we stopped. We were on our way to my grandparents' house, which was the farm. And we stopped at a local gas station, and Dad bought a 8-pack of glass bottles, 16-ounce glass bottles, and he set it on the roof of the Oldsmobile, and then someone he knew talked to him, or somehow he got distracted. And he plumb forgot about the 8-pack of Pepsi, got in the Oldsmobile, whole family's in there, and we drove out to the farm, which was probably 4 miles away. And a lot of it on dirt roads that are usually washboarded, so you don't go all that fast. But still, he drove down some asphalt to get to those at normal speeds. We made it to the farm, and the 8-pack sat right where he placed it. He was so happy. Do I own a gun? Maybe I do. And maybe I don't. I'm going to be mysterious about that. I could be. I couldn't be. You don't know. It looks like I do. I could. I could not. You just don't know. You just don't know. That's right. That's right. If I were to buy a gun, which one would you pick? Squirt pistol. Plastic, fill full of water, squirt some idiot in the face. Gonna close the doors in the foyer here. The bugs are starting to get to me. Yeah. Do. Ah. Yep, squirt pistol. I'm a big fan of that stuff that goes fast, burns fuel. An electric lighter at the end. A friend of mine, he James, what's happening? Good evening. A friend of mine who's blind, he served our country in the early 2000s, and he ended up getting blown up, and he lost his eyesight because of it. And so he's a can-do Marine, so that's a great thing. And he has a great sense of humor about him being blind. And as a gag, we took one of his canes and we dismantled a cattle prod, and then we assembled it into his cane. So he had a cattle prod on the end of his his blind man's cane. Shocking. And that little son of a buck, he got me with that once. Oh my God, it hurt. And he knew exactly what he was doing. He's like, Douglas! Zap! He'd have another cane that had a little dagger in the back of it. He was all sorts of ingenuitive with that stuff. I like the revamped 2026 Charger. I will have to take a look at it. The EV version I didn't care for. I don't understand why they put that air dam wingy thing in the hood. You'd think that it would cause the front end to want to lift up at speed. Not that you'd be able to drive it fast. Unless that's supposed to be. I'll bet you it's just for design, for cool design cues. It'd be different if it was actually made to like put downforce on the front end or something. Like, remember when those guys were taking the Lamborghini Countaches and they were wanting downforce on the front so bad that they were actually starting to take Countach rear spoilers and then buying a second one and mounting it to the front of the car just so they could have more downforce on the front end to really take it out and carve. But my God, it makes the car look so dumb. Looks awesome. I'll have to check out the redesigned 2026 Charger. I'm just happy that internal combustion come back. Oh, so yeah, looking forward to the trip. What else we got coming up? Been working on my chat gone. Yeah, I think it has. Was working on my bathroom again last Saturday. I spent the whole day working on the bathroom. I got all the paneling put in on the east wall, and I got the doorway trim put back up, so that actually looks pretty cool. Starting to actually come together. Getting close to actually having to install a shower. That'd be nice. He's back again. Do I know Barry? Yeah, I know Barry. Hey, Dr. G, what's happening? How old is the house? It is was built in 57. I would have loved to see my neighborhood in 1957 too. Yep. What's even crazier yet is, well, I won't tell that story. It's a cool story though. Yeah, 57. All block. It's got a sandstone veneer on the front. No, I think it's older. It was built in 1957. It's not 57 years old. It's older than that. It's in its 70s. My house is 70-something years old. Yeah, so it's not fighting you. Yeah. Yep. It's we're working on with an external wall like this, so it's got furring strips, just real thin furring strips down that I've got to nail everything to, but it's actually been pretty straightforward. The shower had leaked so bad that I actually had to replace a section of floor, and then I actually had to make a new floor, a floor joist that kind of looks like a letter H to go in because of where I had to put it in. It wouldn't span the distance of the two floor joists. So I made the little floor joist H piece that with joist hangers, and I screwed that all together so that otherwise we would have had the shower. If you stepped up to like use the hot cold knob, the floor was going to sag there. I could tell. So that's just to support the floor there. And it worked out nice. I mean, I stand in that area and I feel safe in it. So my house is older. No, 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 no. The house I grew up in, that was built in the early teens, 19 teens. I calculated with a calculator. Can't always have a calculator around. Learn to do math with the old noodle when you can. That way you're not going, oh, hold on. Actually be able to do it on the fly in your brain. I'm so clever to use one. The clever guy is the guy who actually goes, it's this. I know guys that are just absolutely. My brother-in-law is the guy that you can just throw fractions at. Throw fractions and he'll be like, it's this much. He can add it all up, and he's like a machine, man. You throw a bunch of fractions at him, and he'll say it's this much, and then somebody else goes, he's right. It's like 170 years old. Wow. My house is 3 years old. Yeah, but you got the calculator, but at the same note, why, what challenge is it to just whip out your calculator? It's more of a challenge to actually, figure it out. Like me, I can do a rough approximation of stuff, like quick, it's good, and I'll say it's about this, and I'll have a big window, but I can figure it into a ballpark. You don't need to be exact sometimes. What we talking about? Everything and nothing. We are boldly going nowhere. Yeah. There's yeah, cars. There's oh, what's his name? Daryl Hall from Hall and Oates. He has he loves early colonial houses, like 1700s style houses, and he went all over because he's from like the far east coast, like New Hampshire or something like that, or Vermont, and he buys up all of these 1700s homes, and he had them dismantled and then brought to his estate, and he has like five homes that they have fashioned and put together as one lavish home, and it's all the late early 1700s stuff. It's so dang cool. And it's got a modern kitchen, but it's still the kitchen still has the big fireplace with the swinger and the pot and the cast iron and all the stuff. He doesn't use it, but you could, and it's neat stuff. Yeah, I liked when I seen a tour of Daryl Hall's place. That was actually pretty cool. I've been in my holy temple called 498 years old, almost 500. Wow. Ben and George and Martha Washington's house in Mount Vernon. That'd be cool. I'd like to go there. They found Washington's whiskey recipe, and I think they distill his whiskey on the premises. I'd love to have a bottle of that stuff. For sure. Hopefully I said that right. Good morning. You're in India. Okay. Oh. In India, UK, you're everywhere. I go once to 5 years. Nice. Enfield, Royal Enfield. Yeah, yeah. Royal Enfield is actually a great motorcycle. They've actually really stepped forward trying to modernize Enfield, which is great because Enfield, they just used to make the same bike for decades upon decades upon decades, and they just give you the same motorcycle, and they just take the old dog and make it learn a few new tricks, but for the most part, for decades, it was the same motorcycle. It's in India. I'm in UK. Gotcha. Well, welcome, Vishal. I hope I say that right. I just joined or ghosting here. Oh. Oh boy. I am in Michigan, Joseph. USA. Hello. Yeah, Royal Enfields are cool. I remember a guy, he actually worked at a dealership that sold Royal Enfields, and he had a Royal Enfield t-shirt, and all it said on it was Royal Enfield, and it said on the shoulders, loud rockers save lives. We had an Engels dealer 20 minutes from the house. Oh, Royal Enfield. Okay. Entered an arranged marriage. Happy birthday, Joseph. Is the shop truck red installed yet? Good to see you too, Kim. No, it is not. It's right there, Kim, in the cardboard box. I haven't even opened it up yet. So no, it is not. So I maybe do. I may do a unboxing video. Unboxing. I think I am. I mean, that's the other thing I was wondering is I probably am going to take the valves back to that machine shop and have them measured again without the center spring. Or if it's too little, I was wondering if I could get a lighter middle spring to put in there to get me back up to where I need to be. Because, yeah, right now I need like 200 or 150 closed and 336 open. And the guy at the machine shop squished it down to an inch, and he got like 385. And then he did it an inch from the top, and he got 200 pounds. So in its current setup, yeah, that's too much chooch. So maybe I can run it without the third spring. It'll be better than Christmas morning. So maybe I can run with no spring, but yeah, I'll have to have them measured. Because I looked up Hughes Hughes Engines, because I'm going to be getting the Whiplash cam, I wanted to see what the spring kit that they recommend, and it's a single spring and buffer spring. So that's what I think I have, is the single spring buffer spring, and then the high chooch one has got the third spring on top of that. So I think I'm gonna have that measured, or get a bigger cam. Yeah, there's a reason why, because it's a low compression engine. How many times have you intentionally yeah, there's the reason that I am choosing this cam is because it was designed with a low compression big block in mind, and it helps with cylinder pressure to help cheat the low compression. And even guys with high compression still like running the Whiplash cam. Hi, Michelle. And so that is the cam that I want. I could run a bigger cam, but I don't have the compression. I'm probably going to be like 8-to-1. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm running that cam. But yeah, I have seen some pretty big cams. There's a guy by me who's really old, and he's like, I got a whole bunch of solid cams, 700 lift if you're interested. And I'm like, that's a lot of cam. Pop-up pistons. I got dish pistons. The problem with the 413 is finding pistons for it. It's almost impossible to find pistons. And the bore of a 413 is like 4.185 or something like that. And then the stock bore of a 440 is like, I want to say 4.320. So I would have to really jack up I'd really have to bore the tar out of my 413 to be able to accommodate a 440 piston. Yeah, I have a 440 block. The 413 is this is the get it running engine, and then I plan to build Project Gnarly 440. And Gnarly 440, I'm hoping that it will have max wedge port heads and tunnel ram on it. It's going to get the big runners. Yeah, I want it to breathe. Just bore it out to 426 size. I've thought about that. Very cool, Dr. G. I'll have to check it out. I got a set, my 440 bottom end consists of factory forged crank, Scat H-beam rods, and Wiseco flat top pistons. Yeah, buddy, you can't go wrong with a gnarly 440. Just remember, a 440 will pull itself into the grave. It won't show any signs of letting up until it's too late. Be careful. My one friend would always say, yeah, man, you send a 440 up into high rev territory and she'll do it once. She'll never run the same after that, but she'll do it once. So yeah, I was thinking that very same thing, Mean Street Mopar, about taking that third spring out and seeing what it'll do, because spring set is like 170 bucks. I still got to make a order. I got to get my cam from Hughes. Yeah, I'm getting to the short list of stuff. I got to get head gaskets, and I want the head gasket with the thinnest compressed thickness. Not that I'm really going to, I just want every ounce of compression that I can glean from it. Plan on putting cross bolt mains in it too. Are you going to put a crank girdle? Are you going to use the girdle too on top of the cross bolted mains? The cross bolted mains would be sweet, like a Hemi. Yeah. Yeah, you've been eyeballing 440 source like I have. I got to make a 440 source order too. I want to get some hardened rocker shafts from 440 source. I want to get some of the nylon valve seals. There's a couple other things I wanted to get from 440 source. Oh, fasteners. I want to get some fasteners. This year I'm coming to where you live Christmas time. All right, I'll be waiting for you. Lady Dougster will set up the tree. You'll like it. It's pretty. Saw 4 sets of Longhorn ram air intakes for the Isle of Suave made for the 413. Those are cool. Now there's the long rams and the short rams. There's 2 different versions. Those are still way cool. It takes the carburetors a really long time to warm up because they're off of the engine. So they take a long time before they finally... Different tuning RPMs. Well, one was for not for the tuning RPMs. One was used in the street version, and the other version was used for high performance only. Like guys out to Bonneville was using. The one version was street, and the other version was race only. And I want to say the short rams were the ones that were used for racing. Yeah, girdle would be great too, especially the reasonably priced one that 440 source makes. But I mean, just the side bolted in main caps are going to be huge for that. Oh, it's Juan. Welcome, Juan. Do I like Trump? I don't dislike him. He's all right. He's our president. Thanks, Juan. Always appreciated. Brazil, Brazil. Nice. Well, of course I like the Jews. I like Christians, and I like Muslims, and I like everyone. Non-discriminatory, my man. Juan, Juan, Juan. Juan is the loneliest number that you ever knew. 2 can be as bad as Juan because the loneliest number is the number 1. Hey, Ryan. All right. Tom's back. What's up? It's the early 2000s again. What's up? I should not say that I like everyone, but I don't. Okay. All right, fine. Beamer said it. I don't like everyone. There. Is that better? Are you from the U.S.? Yes. I am from the U.S. I am from the great state of Michigan. What's up? Yeah, Budweiser commercials from the early 2000s. But hanging with the daughter, still listening. Nice. Did she find your missing slide whistle? Bet not. Ski exams and AI. Okay. Favorite TV series from America? A-Team. I love the A-Team. Always love the van. NBA Baracus. I paid the fool. I'm not getting on no plane. Oh no, B.A. Baracus, and then Howlin' Mad Murdoch. Howlin' Mad Murdoch. He was my favorite. Can you say my friend's name? No, I can't. It's one letter position. This is true. Reacher, new season hopefully starts soon. Sounds cool. Oh yeah, that's the one with Tom Cruise in it where he's like a bad dude. Do I like football? Yeah, I like football. Detroit Lions. That's my team. They suck. They awesome. Who cares? Still my team. I like college football too. U of M. Yep. I like football. And if my Lions ain't in it, I'm not interested. Oh, the real football, English. I'm not into football like that, but I do enjoy Australian rules football or footy. And my favorite team is the Geelong Cats. Good night, Beamer. Greatest lion ever. Yes. Alex Karras was a great lion, too. Alex Karras was Mr. Papadopoulos in the TV show Webster. And George Papadopoulos and Alex Karras was a lion before he was a bear. So, yeah, he's another great great lion. Herman Moore, who was a great lion, great running back. I just did. I'm about ready to pull the plug on it for the night. My YouTube channel name, Dexter Wolverine Garage. Oh. All right. That's all just Beamer. Nice. I know someone who went to high school with Alex. He was born in Cary, Indiana. My dad I believe my dad got to meet Alex Karras somehow, some way. I'll have to ask him again about that. Well, I think that I am going to call it a night. So thank you, everyone, for coming and hanging out tonight. Good time as always. So show up here next Monday, same Dougster time, same Dougster channel, and let's do it like the Beach Boys, and let's get together and do it again. So, guys, great having you. Have a good evening. Bye, everybody.